The BBC's Sharanjit Lail there. Well, let's go back to our top story in the Afghan elections. Joining us live now is Ramin Anwari, who's an Afghan civil rights activist. He joins us from our Kabul studio. Ramin, thank you very much for joining us here on Impact. The lead up to this election has been marred by violence. Even today, we're reporting on the blasts outside the Interior Ministry. How hopeful are you that Afghans will go to the polls on Saturday?
Well, thank you for having me. The security concerns are really legitimate here in Afghanistan. Over the past 10 days or more than that, we have had non-stop violence throughout the country, and especially in the Kabul. Groups targeting particularly civilian groups in order to discourage them from going into the polling stations. But again, we do not have any other options ahead of us. This nation has gone through so much in the past 3 to 4 decades, and they know how war tastes. So they do not want a repeat of violence, and the only option we have in our path is going to the polling stations on the 5th of April and choose our next government.
Ramin, some Afghans have said that they don't trust some of the candidates because of tribal and political affiliations. How much do you think that'll affect the vote?
Well, I mean, that's one point, and as well, there are many other factors, including security and the possibility of fraud into the elections. I've been talking to the Afghans over the past 10 days or 15 days, and they say we risk our lives to go and vote, and then we are not sure if there is a transparent and free and fair election. So the fraud also plays a part into that. I mean, there are many other options, many other factors that are discouraging Afghans to go to the polling stations. But as we have been witnessing throughout this voter cards registrations, thousands of people have been queuing outside the centers from 2 a.m. until 8 a.m. when the voting registrations opens. So I mean, that can be a clear indication of people wanting to go to the polling stations.
And Ramin, you mentioned fraud there. Of course, a lot of foreign observers have left the country after that attack on the IEC. So you're hearing from many of the officials there of concerns about fraud in the upcoming election?
Well, of course, the organizations involved into the election process, they are worried about the fraud. I mean, we have been witnessing fraud in the past elections in the country, so we have a bit of history into that as well. And also, there is a concern of how President Karzai is going to deal with the elections and the candidates. That's a very legitimate fear among the independent observers here. That, I mean, they are insisting that if President Karzai stays out of this campaign of supporting any particular candidate, there might be some hope of free and fair elections. But that's a massive concern. And also, local militia groups and local warlords play a huge part into that as well. I mean, creating an atmosphere of fear into the provinces and into districts, remote areas, that can really up the level of fraud into the elections.
Okay, Ramin, thank you very much for joining us. Ramin Anwari there, an Afghan civil rights activist, joining us